Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Cringii, and in today's video, I'm going to show you how to set up Streamlabs super easy and beginner friendly so you can get to streaming today. Let's go ahead and jump right in. So you're going to open Streamlabs, and it's probably going to look something like this with nothing on it. On the left side, we're going to have our scenes. In the middle, we're going to have our sources, and on the right, we're going to have our audio mixer. So typically the first thing I do when I'm building out my stream is I'm going to go ahead and set up all of my scenes. More or less, to explain your scenes, is it's going to be what is being broadcast to your viewers at any given time. So your game screen with your camera, or your just chatting screen with a full camera view, or if you're, have to go to the bathroom or something, it's going to be your be right back screen. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and start adding our scenes. So they start us off with one, and it's just going to be called scene. You can go ahead and right click this, click rename, and then we're going to type in something like starting soon. To add another scene, you're going to go ahead and click this plus button. This can be our game scene. I typically add a BRB screen, a chatting screen, and then my ending screen. All right, so now with all of our scenes added, we can start adding sources to these scenes to start building out each of them. I'm gonna go ahead and start with our chatting screen so you guys can see my face. You're gonna go ahead and click this plus sign on your sources. You're gonna go to video capture and click add source. You can name this source whatever you prefer. I'm gonna go ahead and name it camera. We're gonna go ahead and add the source. And then it's going to auto select whatever camera source you have. So for me, it's going to be a video broadcast, so I can use my camera in multiple places. For you, it's just going to be whatever your webcam's name is. So like I have Elgato Facecam Mark II as, my typical USB camera option. So after getting our camera added, we're going to have to go ahead and resize it to the scene that we're on. So since we're on our chat screen, we're going to want this to fill the entire screen. So when you're talking to people, or, you're just bullshitting between the game or whatever, people can see everything going on with just you. So you're going to go ahead and grab that corner, and you're going to drag it, and it'll snap to the edge of the screen. So you don't really have to do a whole lot here. It'll just do it for you. All right, so now that we have our camera added and it's fully fit to the screen, now we can start building on top of that. So you have to think as your sources kind of like a sandwich. So everything you put in a certain order can hide other things underneath it or above it. So if you want to go ahead and click plus on your sources, and let's say you want to add your chat box. So when you're talking and people are typing, you can see it pop up on the screen, and so can everybody else, even if you're getting chats from multiple sources, like YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, Kick, Instagram, whatever it may be. You're gonna go ahead and add it. It comes as the chat box source called chat box. You're gonna go ahead and add that. You can set your own themes however you want. I use a purple theme typically because my favorite color is purple. But yeah, so you're gonna go ahead and close that now that it's added, and now we can go ahead and adjust it. So nothing is here yet. You kind of have to play with it, go type on your own Twitch chat to figure out how big you want it. I usually align mine to like the side of the screen, just so it's not like in the way of the camera or anything else. So now, just to show you a quick example of this, I have my Twitch open. So I'm gonna go ahead and send a message to myself like, hey. So it's gonna pop up down here in the corner, and it'll only go to the top of this box that is set. Also to mention something, when I went to drag this, I also dragged my camera. So what we can do is we can go ahead and lock our sources, so we can't move them. I can't click this and drag it anywhere. Like, see, I'm trying to click and I can't grab it. So we can do the same thing for all of our sources, just so things don't become like a jumbled mess when you're going to move stuff around. All right, so now we're going to keep building on this scene. So to add to this, we're going to go ahead and add an alert box. So if anybody drops you a follow or anything else along those lines, it's going to show up on the screen so everybody can see everything. For me, all of this stuff is already pre-set up because I have a bunch of my other sources added to my other scene that I use for streaming personally. So once that's added, we can go ahead and move our alert box. I typically just put it like out of the way of my head, so if something does pop up while I'm talking, it doesn't just cover the whole screen. If that's something you want, you're more than welcome to do that. But yeah, this is pretty much how we're gonna go ahead and set up our full chat screen, and we're gonna move on to the other couple of scenes and see what else we can build out. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to our game scene now, which is probably the most important scene of your entire stream. We're gonna go ahead and click on game, and I'm gonna disappear. So now that we're in our game scene, we're going to go ahead and have to add all of our sources again. to display the things that we want to see: your camera, your game, your chat, your alerts, etc. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and click the plus sign on our sources again. This is kind of up to your personal opinion. I like using display capture because I like my whole monitor on one monitor being displayed on what's on the screen. Game capture is only going to capture what is going on in the game itself, because it's going to capture an application rather than an actual monitor. For me, I'm going to go ahead and use display capture because I prefer it. We're going to use this, type it in as game, and then add our source. And your capture method is going to be automatic, and on display you're going to pick your gaming monitor, so whichever monitor, if you have two monitors, is the game's actually going to be on. For me, it's going to be my 2560 by 1440p monitor. So to show you an example of what this is going to look like, I'm going to go ahead and minimize my Streamlabs, and this is what it's going to look like. It's going to display your entire monitor and everything going on your monitor. So if you have to look up something on Google or whatever, it's going to pop up on your stream as well, which could be interactive and fun with your viewers if you have like a wheel spin or something else. So now that we have our main monitor source captured, we're going to go ahead and add our video capture source again. You can actually use the source you added from your other scenes to make this super easy for you. All you're going to do is click the source you want. So we have camera already on our other scene. We're going ahead and click add source, and then I'm back. So we can resize this again by grabbing the corner and shrinking it down. You can have your camera pretty much wherever you want and whatever size at this point. This is totally up to preference. I see people with their camera up in the corner. I see them with it the other corner. I see it in the middle of the screen. I've seen it in the bottom corners. This totally comes up to you. For me personally, I like it on like the middle left side of the screen, and I don't like it super big so it doesn't cover like a lot of the gameplay. So this is where we're going to take a second and touch back on the sandwich theory that I was talking about. So at any point in time, you can accidentally hide your camera by sliding it underneath your game source. So now the camera's gone. It's still there, but it's just covered by the other captures. So we have to layer this on top of our game. So our game should be the very bottom thing on our scene or on our source list for this whole scene. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and add our chat box again by clicking chat box and add source. It's gonna pull up your recommended again. You can go ahead and click add source. So now this is above our camera. So if we have it overlaid on top of our camera, same thing with the sandwich theory. If people are typing, it's going to cover that. So we're going to go ahead and layer it between our game and our camera so it doesn't ever go over our camera. So I'm gonna go ahead and use my chat again as a way to show you guys what this is gonna look like and how we can adjust this to actually hide it below our camera if you want your chat as one of your sources on your main gaming scene. So I'm gonna go ahead and type and just spam enter and enter and enter. So now we can see that the chat is hidden behind my camera, but it's still kind of ugly off to the side of the screen, and it just kind of looks out of place. So to fix this, we can go ahead and center it on the edge, and we can slide it down so that when you do chat, it stops at the very top of your camera, so it doesn't peek through the top of your camera, and it just looks a little bit more professional, a little bit more clean this way. So let me go ahead and open this again. So now if I keep spamming, things are going to keep appearing, but see how it's not too far to the left side of the camera and it's not popping out above the camera? This is how I have my stream set up. I love having my chat on stream, and everybody can see it from every horizontal source, so everybody kind of feels included. And I have it hidden underneath my camera, so it's not covering up my face, and it does cover some of the gameplay, but it's kind of just like the sacrifice you have to make. So now that our chat's added, we're gonna want to go ahead and add an alert box again. It's going to be the same exact thing. We're gonna go ahead and click alert box, add source. It's gonna pull our recommended existing source already, which we're gonna add source. Then we're going to go ahead and adjust this and do the same thing. We can layer this above our camera because it shouldn't be on your camera anyways, unless of course you want it to be, which is totally up to you. I typically shrink it down and I put it above my camera because there is a large portion of time where somebody's watching your stream and they're looking at your face instead of the game. So, you know, when somebody sends a follow or a dono or a sub or whatever it may be, it's going to pop up above your camera and everybody's going to be able to see that on your stream as well. So that for the most part is going to be our entire game like scene setup. You don't really need to add a whole lot. You can add some flair later on, and I kind of want to do a more like in-depth video on some of the more complicated stuff you can do with Streamlabs. But for now, we're going to keep this very beginner friendly and super easy to set up, so at least you can just get going and start streaming. So now we're going to go ahead and move on over to our starting soon scene, and we're going to go to add sources again. This time we're going to go down to our media file. We're going to open our media file. I'm going to call this starting, just because this is going to be the only source on here for me personally. We're going to browse our local files. For me, it's going to be in my folders because I already have a pre-made starting soon scene. So I'm going to click and open starting. I'm going to pull this. At this point, we're going to go ahead and loop this so it will play over and over again. We're going to resize this to our scene, and that's going to be my starting soon scene. But I can also show you how to set up something a little more simple. It might not be the greatest looking, but just to get you started, this is what we're going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hide this. You can also always go and add a text box or an image. So for me, you can always go like add text, and then you could just call it starting. You can add that, and then you can type in whatever you want. So you can just type in like starting soon, yay, or something. I don't really know. Okay. So this could be your starting soon screen. So when you go live, this is going to be the first thing that pops up, and it's going to broadcast that to everybody. I know it's not the greatest thing ever, but if you're just starting out and you don't have graphics, then this is very much an option that you can use. All right. So with that being set up now, we can do the same thing for our Be Right Back and ending screen, which I don't think you guys need to see at this point because it's going to be the same exact thing as setting up our starting soon screen and pretty much all of the other screens at this point. We're going to go ahead and dive now into our mixer so we can get our audio sources set up so people can hear what they need to hear on your stream. So you can click the cogwheel next to the sources it already pre-makes for you. Your desktop audio should be your default, just like desktop audio, whatever is getting captured onto your computer for audio. So this should be perfectly fine and set up just the way it needs to be. Your mic source though is going to be a little different. So we're going to click the cogwheel. We're going to go ahead and click properties, and then you can set this device to whatever you need it to be. So for me personally, it's going to be my wavelength stream because this is what my whole mic setup is ran through at this point. For you, it could be a headphone mic, it could be a USB mic, which it should register as that source. So for me, it's like wavelength or mic in wave XLR would be the option. For you, it might be like HyperX, blah, 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 or whatever headset you are using. So now with our mixer setup, now that you can see that I'm talking, you can see it generating like this bar over here. I try to keep mine within like the mid yellow to right into the red. So you can go ahead and adjust how loud all of this is going to be on stream by sliding the slider down. If I turn it all the way down, it's going to pretty much mute my audio. If I turn it up or click anywhere on this bar, that's where it's going to land. So even if I get to talking super loud, it's only going to peak into the red. You can adjust all of this by sliding the slider up and down. You can do the same exact thing for your desktop audio, which you're going to want ever so slightly quieter than your actual mic volume so people can hear you over your game. Moving on to our final setup piece, we're going to need to add our sources that we're going to be streaming to. With the base Streamlabs, you can stream to one horizontal platform and one vertical platform at any time together. I'm not going to dive into that as of this video, but I might do another one if you guys want me to. But for now, you're going to go ahead down here and click the settings wheel down in the bottom corner. We're going to go to stream, and this is where you can add your sources. All of these sources already come free on your Streamlabs. You just have to log into them. So for me, these are the things that I have set up on my stream sources. And then for your output, this is a little bit deeper into the mix of things. You're going to want to set up in your streaming. You're going to want to set your video bitrate to 6,000 bitrate. This is good for 1080p streaming. Should be plenty enough bandwidth for your internet if you have good enough internet. So with everything I showed you, this is how I would set up my very beginner stream in 2026 on Streamlabs. If this helped you, let me know down in the comments. If you have any questions at all, feel free to ask them or come join my community Discord server. I can help you out more there. I stream every day at about 1 a.m. PST. So if you're up late or a night owl like myself, come join the stream, come hang out and ask me some questions. Peace.